Good. Well, now then, this is competition time, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to test your skills. So I'm sure you all do watch the very intellectual BBC antique shows like Bargain Hunt. Yes! So if you do, you've learned no end of stuff. So, I mentioned earlier on Lord Nelson, one of my heroes of all time. And last Monday, the 21st of October, was Trafalgar Day. And I seemingly was the only person on Twitter celebrating it. I tweeted, "Happy Trafalgar's Day, everybody. Proud to be British, proud of Lord Nelson." So my first question, for the second prize, I'm going to get to the first, don't you worry about it, you're going to have an opportunity, right? The second prize is 2 tickets for 2 adult human beings to the Yorkshire Wildlife Zoo. And my question is this, and when I ask the question, I'm going to take the first hand in the air, and if that person doesn't get it right, don't start shouting out, because in Maidenhead the other night, I almost caused a punch. They kept just shouting the answers, it was all out of control, I just wanted to get home to the north, right? So if you don't get it right, I'm going to ask another question. So are you ready? Yes. Get your brains in gear. So we talked about Lord Nelson. My question is this. Lord Nelson died a hero at the Battle of Trafalgar on the 21st of October of what year? Madam? 1805. 1805! Give her a round of applause! That's amazing! You said to me I'd be the brightest person in this room tonight. This is disappointing here. I'm not looking very good. Right, you get the tickets to the zoo. Yes, I know. There you go, well done you. Well done. Now then, this is the first prize. Now I'm going to tell you how much this first prize is worth. So how much did you pay for your tickets tonight? You paid nothing. Well, I'm looking forward to working out how much this fee is going to be generating for me if you pay nothing. How much did you pay, madam? £28 for both. £28 for both of you. £28 for 2? My God. I'm worth less now than I was in the early days working for the BBC. Right, oh, yes, true, yeah. Yes, but get this. I sold in a charity auction only a couple of weeks ago in Leeds at a charity event 2 of my tickets to any future show. I sold them for £450. I know, that's what they're worth. So you lot are all in profit. If you hadn't come tonight, you could have sold them for £450 for 2. You've missed a trick. Admittedly, the person that bought them was completely comatose, drunk. But it didn't bother me. I took the bits, right? So that's what they're worth. So here is a question. I'm going to concentrate on the Yorkshire connection. Now, during the 18th century, there were 3 very famous cabinet makers. They're referred to as the Big 3. We've got Thomas Chippendale, George Hepplewhite, and Thomas Sheraton. Guess what? They were all northern men. All made their fortunes in London, but each and every one of them came from the north of England. My question to you is this. Out of those 3, which one was born in Otley? Madam?
Chippendale.
Thomas Chippendale! Round of applause! Oh my God, we should have a drum roll for this one. Madam! You!
Go for the AC Cobra.
Does that come from Otley?
Well done! Well done. All you now need to say is you dated his great-great-great-great-grandson. That would just make the evening perfect. Now, you may call this ruthless self-promotion, right? But please, I've got to sell tickets. But ruthless self-promotion is a good thing. You have to do that. When I first started promoting on Facebook and Twitter this show, Unexpected Tales, I can tell you, I got some unexpected comments from people who I didn't realise hated me so much they went to extreme lengths to write beastly things about me. Are you on Facebook, sir? Well, I wouldn't with that face, honestly. The things they'll say about you. Yeah. People, you can't believe it, right? So I was promoting Unexpected Tales. One guy wrote, he said, if he was in my back garden, I'd draw the curtains. I know, you've got to be thick-skinned. Another one, he said to me, he sent me a message, he said, so, driving around the countryside in old jalopies, buying antiques, wearing stupid clothes, isn't paying, is it? So I wrote back and I said, you're damn right it's not paying. Can I sell you a pair of tickets to my show? He didn't reply. Unbelievable. Who is on Facebook tonight? Yes, madam, yeah. Well, do write something nice. Right? I mean, you can write whatever you like as long as it's fabulous. Please. I've got some ground to make up. So come on then, do we have a question? Yes, madam, back room. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to stand up, but never mind. What is this? What is this? This is your life or something? Yeah. Do you want to come down here and take over? Yeah. Go on.
Bearing in mind I gave up Strictly Come Dancing tonight to come and see you.
Oh, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Go on.
What's the most profit you've ever made on an item that you've bought and sold?
Oh. Well, I can tell you, the most I've ever sold an item for was a very unusual item, and you might be surprised to hear that it was not an antique. But I've got to tell you that because of TV, you get spin-offs. You get the most unusual requests. You know, everything from opening a village hall to doing big charity events to hosting things. I was in Jersey 2 weeks ago. They flew me out, 5-star hotel, gave me a cracking fee. I couldn't believe it. Much better than my early days BBC fees, I can assure you, right? And I spent half an hour doing an auction to 500 people. They flew me back. Life of Riley. That was marvellous. This one, where I sold the most expensive item I've ever sold, most expensive single item, was a charity day in London. I got a call from someone who said, David, would you be our auctioneer at the Natural History Museum? Oh, yes, I thought. I would like to be your auctioneer. What's the fee? They told me the fee. I almost collapsed. I've tried to pretend that this was normal. Not that I've worked for free. I just, oh yes, oh my God, yes, that will do fine. I no need to negotiate that one. I'll have that. All I had to do is sell 3 things. I knew what I had to do. I jumped on the train first class from Northallerton down to London. I knew I had to go to the Natural History Museum, so I was walking from the station to the taxi. But halfway from the station to the taxi, something happened to my brain. My brain changed the Natural History Museum to the British Museum. I don't know why. It happens occasionally. I'm sure you can relate to it, right? So I jump in the taxi, confident as hell, completely prepared, and I said to the taxi driver, please take me to the British Museum. Thank you very much. Sat in the back of the taxi, enjoying the sights and sounds of London. I get out the taxi at the British Museum. Have you ever been to London? Once. Did you make it to the British Museum? You've got to go. The British Museum makes you proud to be British. There it was, majestic, right in front of me. The only problem of this evening, this winter's evening, was this. There were no lights on at the British Museum. I got the shock of my life. The gates were closed. I'm booked as auctioneer. How can I get in? I couldn't get in. There's a security man who said, the security man had us said, Harper, I'm booked here for the event this evening. I'm the auctioneer. He said, there's no event on tonight. The museum is closed. I said, it can't be, because I'm booked, I'm due. Can you let me in? He said, no, so I was getting agitated, but at this point, I can't let you in, it is closed. I said, is there someone in the museum? He said, yes, security. I said, would you please ring security? I said, by the way, do you watch Flog? He said, no. I thought, well, you work at the British Museum and you do not watch Bargain. There is something wrong with you. Right, anyway, he rings security, madam, and security come back and confirm the museum is closed. There is no event on, they've never heard of David Harper, and they don't watch Bargain Hunt either. This, my evening was getting worse by the second. I said, right, I'll ring the organiser. So I picked up my phone and I rang a chap called Bill. Hi Bill, it's it's David, I'm outside the museum, I can't get in. David said, we're waiting for you, we need you. I said, Bill, I can't get in, the security man won't let me. What do you mean he won't let you in? The gates are closed, the gates should not be closed. David said, he will not let me into the museum. He said, David, what can I do? I said, well, come out and get me, rescue me. He said, okay, I'm coming out to the main steps. I'm going to stand on the main steps and I'll wave. You wave back. I said, okay, Bill, I'm waving. He said, David, I'm waving. I said, Bill, I cannot see anybody. The steps are in pitch black. He said, the steps are in pitch black. They're illuminated. David, he said, you are at the Natural History Museum. Well, my world imploded. I just felt now like a jellyfish. Gone was this cool, prepared guy knowing exactly who he was and what he was doing. I was in panic mode. I looked at the security man, he looked at me, I had this manic look on my face, he then began to panic. I ran away, I think he thought I was a terrorist, and I jumped into a taxi. And I said to the taxi driver, please get me to the Natural History Museum. Now, I'm sat in the back of the taxi thinking I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm getting pains up my arm, I'm sweating, I'm thinking, I cannot afford to lose this gig, right? I can't do it. I get out of the taxi at the Natural History Museum, I run to the main entrance, there are the organisers waiting for me, and they dash me through the museum. Have you been to the Natural History Museum, sir? It's remarkable. Stuffed with elephants, crocodiles, but the best thing to do when you go there is take your time and look at the stuff in the museum. It's very interesting. Not run through there at 30 miles an hour with them flashing by you. It's one of those situations in life you cannot believe what is happening to you. And I get to the end of this stage just in time for Nick Robinson, the BBC political. You know, all the ladies are going crazy already. You are a bunch of intellectuals, because Nick Robinson is known as the thinking woman's hot toddy. Hey, he is. Well, so he told me anyway. Anyway. And just in time for Nick Robinson to announce David Harper as your auctioneer for the evening. Now, he didn't know all hell was breaking loose. I walk onto this huge stage. The the dinosaur skeleton is right in front of me. And below the dinosaur, 300 city bankers. 300 city bankers. I said bankers. I said bankers. You might have been right, but city bankers, that's what they were, right? There. Now, I go onto the stage, dripping wet, still in full panic mode. Now, I start gabbling on. I don't know what I'm saying, not dissonant right now. Just gabbling on. And the audience will look at me with blank faces, thinking, who the hell is this lunatic? I'm dripping. And I think to myself, David, compose yourself. Stop giving an introduction, because that's what I'm trying to do, warm the crowd up. Just start selling and get out of it. So, I move on to lot number one. I've got 3 lots. Lot number 1, ladies, is Nick Robinson himself. I know, you're going crazy, I know. How much would you pay to take Nick Robinson out for dinner? You can have him for the whole evening. You can talk about yourselves all night long. He has to listen. Imagine that, you're with your husband tonight, he doesn't listen to a word you say. Nick Robinson has to listen to you because he's paid to, right? You've got him all night. So I get Nick onto the stage, I take his jacket off and I spin him around for the ladies to get a good look at his masculine physique. That did not go down very well at all, right? No ladies seemed to be interested, but there was a little group of very well dressed young men. Were you there? Were you there? But they were very interested in Nick, and I looked at Nick and I said, by God, you're in trouble. He said, it's for a good cause. Anyway, so he hasn't been seen since, right? Anyway, so I start selling Nick Robinson. Take a guess. How much did I sell Nick Robinson for dinner? £10? Sorry, I forgot we're in Yorkshire. This is the middle of London, madam. How much?
5.
1,000. It's getting better. You're obviously from York.
Yes.
What's that, sir?
5.
5 grand. That 5 grand?
Yes.
Oh, well, you're a Nick Robinson fan as well, aren't you? Yeah. You probably know this fella down here, do you? 5 grand, eh? 5 grand. 17,000. 17. That is not my record. 17,000. Lot number 2 Ladies, I know one of you, you're going to love this. This is a tennis lesson with Boris Becker. Oh my God! You can play tennis, do what you like in all afternoon. Now Boris Becker, I've got to tell you, had a massive screen behind me, a 30-foot screen, and on the screen, here comes a picture of Boris Becker. Boris Becker is looking fabulous. Very useful. I'll tell you what, he's aging very well. This is what I'm thinking. Thick hair, brown, very suntanned, looking the business. But I look in the bottom right-hand corner and there's a date code. That picture was taken in 1988. Boris Becker looks more like Boris Johnson. So, bear that in mind. How much would you pay to take Boris Becker out for an afternoon, play tennis or whatever you want to do? Go on!
50.
Who said what?
15,000.
15,000. 50. Madam, you're a Boris Becker fan. Or is it Boris Johnson? Which one do you prefer? Oh, you've gone silent, yeah. You're very close. He said 50. I sold him for £40,000. There's only one person in this room who's not surprised that's the lady who said 50. Anyway, £40,000. But here comes my personal record. In the room, just where you are sat in your circa 75 Simpson, was sat the one and the only Sir Alex Ferguson. Rookie. I got a better response in Maidenhead with that. Sir Alex Ferguson. But before I sold him, one of the organisers ran onto the stage and whispered urgently in my ear, "Do not get Sir Alex on the stage. Do not engage with him. Do not even look in his direction." Now this is awkward for me because he's there. Right, I'm 5 foot above, he is there. I want to scream, Sir Alex Ferguson is in the room. I'm not allowed to, right? But he's sat there. So now you can go football till you're blue in the face. All night long with Sir Alex Ferguson. You're paying Chinese, Indian fish chips, whatever you want. That you have got to pick up the bill for the dinner, but how much would you pay? Sir, in the blue jacket with the check shirt, right there, how much would you pay to take Sir Alex Ferguson out for dinner?
Nothing.
Oh my Lord! It gets worse! And anyway, by the way, welcome, please, round of applause for Sir Alex Ferguson. All his fans are here. Nothing. Can we improve on nothing?
100 grand.
100 grand. Very good, actually, very good. Because the record up to that point was £100,000. He occasionally gives himself away for charity dues, and the most he's ever been sold for was 100,000. So I would be very pleased to get to that. So I started the bidding at 50,000, and I got it. 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 80, 90, £100,000. I was about to sell it. Someone else jumped in. 110, 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. £170,000 I sold Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, I was, at this point, the most excited person in the room. I leapt off the stage, broke all protocol, and I landed in front of him, and I shook his hand, and I said, "Sir Alex, congratulations." He looked panic-stricken, as if I was a mad mass murderer. So, my God, he's a bit miserable. I run over to the guy that just paid £170,000. So I ran over. I went, "Sir, well done, £170,000. I got the shock of my life." He was even more miserable than Sir Alex Ferguson. What the hell? It just goes to prove that your miserable lives are not nearly as bad as you thought, because money does not buy you happiness. It's true. It's true. So who asked that question? Matter of the back. Oh, what are you? I've only got 3 choices. What are you?
E-type Jack.
I haven't got one. But actually I do. I have painted an E-type Jack for the Haynes International Motor Museum down in Somerset. So I have that on greeting cards. So if you really want one, you can buy one from my website. But in the meantime, you're going to get a V8 Chevy. You're all right. Round of applause. Well done. That's yours with your name on it. Come on then. Do we have another question? Yes.
How do they choose the people to be on bargain hunt? Because they don't seem to know much about antiques and they've hardly ever been to an auction.
Are you talking about the experts or
I'm talking about the people who are supposed to help you, or you're supposed to help.
Well, it's a very interesting question. How do you pick the contestants? I often wonder how the hell they pick the contestants. And in fact, I'm filming Bargain Hunt tomorrow at Beverley Racecourse. And I know that this is the auction part. And I will ask myself that very same question when I see them at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. I don't know how they pick them. All I do know is that they get inundated with people wanting to be on the show. And the office at Bargain Hunt is very small, only a few people. And they have to weed through all these applications. But when people say to me, how do I get through this application system, get on the show? I say, you've got to have stories. You've got to have really interesting backstories. So if you're in a relationship, you and your husband, did you meet whilst you were parachuting? Did he save your life? Did you once have 5 legs, but you've now only got 1? Something like that, but you're planning on putting another one on. Anything that makes you abnormal, unusual, and not the norm. That's what they're looking for. And so anything other than that, they don't have to have any knowledge.
No, they don't have any. A lot of them don't seem to have any.
No, I know, but that's great because it makes me look good.
Yes.
I don't want Angus Ashworth with me, do I? For God's sake. That's ridiculous. I'm on TV to look as intelligent as I possibly can. I've been getting away with blagging it for 15 years. I don't want anybody good. So the answer is, I don't know. Do you fancy applying?
Yes.
Do you? Do you have any abnormalities? Are you referring to your husband?
No, this is my husband.
Oh, it's not your husband. Well, I tell you what, the way he's looking at you, he might be by the end of the night.
We only met tonight.
Well, there's going to be a wild night in Helmsley, I'll tell you what. I was going to go to Beverley this evening, but I might just stick with you. Come up with a great backstory, right? Think, rack your brains. What makes you unusual? So when the people are eating their lunch at home, it makes them spit their food out when they realise that you're so bonkers. That's what they're looking for, right? Good. Round of applause. I think you're going to get an AC Cobra.
Thank you.
Come and see me afterwards.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Yes, madam.
Have you ever dropped anything whilst you've been filming?
Oh, well. Have I ever dropped anything whilst I've been filming? Just remember punchline because I was just going to get... Yeah. No, I haven't, but I do. I'm very tactile with things, and I do throw them around quite a lot. And when I give talks, I do evaluation talks and stuff, for groups of people, and they bring things in. I always like to throw them around, but I've never yet dropped anything. So no, not just yet. But if you do it on TV, it will be shown, because we make these shows, we film them as live. It's not going out live, but they are filmed as live. And so whatever happens, happens. So if I drop something, it's filmed. If I don't know something, it's filmed. And when you get a contestant who asks you something completely stupid that you can't think of an answer for, you are on camera and it's being filmed. So if you don't know the answer, what do you do? Make it up! Yes, sir! I've been doing that for donkey shows. There isn't anybody here from the BBC, is there? No, good. Right, you can choose a car as well. Come on, let's have another question. Make it meaty. Yes?
The contestants on Bargain Hunt get an hour to buy their 3 items. How long do you get when you go to buy the expert's choice?
Okay, that's very true. They do only get an hour, and it is very strict on BBC. What you see is what you get, and we get whatever time is left over. So sometimes I have been buying, and this is me making excuses for rubbish expert buys, right? Because I often lose stacks of money. Why they ever ring me, I don't know. But anyway, we get whatever time's left over. Times I have been hunting for an expert buy when stall holders are packing up and driving away. So whatever time is left in the day, that's it. I know. But I like living like that. I like living by the seat of my pants. So it makes life much more interesting and exciting. Do you have a car already?
I have a car. But
No, I meant one of my cars. Honestly, you know, you always get a show off. Just because he's got a car, he wants the whole of Helmsley to know. What is it, a Ford Fiesta? A smart car? Gets worse. Come on then, another question. Yes, sir?
What's been your nightmare couple on bargain?
Nightmare couple. Oh gosh, I've had so many nightmare couples on bargain. But I've got to tell you about my nightmare experience on TV. The worst experience I've ever had on television happened a couple of years ago, when I was asked to go on Celebrity Masterchef. Did anybody see me? Well, I wasn't on for very long, was I? Because I don't cook. I'd never watched Celebrity Masterchef. I'd never actually watched a cookery show. So when they rang me and said, would you like to go on the show? Of course, I just said yes, because I say yes to just about anything and everything, any opportunity. Strictly Come Dancing rang me. I said yes. They rang back, they said no. The Jungle did the same. I said yes. They said no immediately. So I said yes to Celebrity Masterchef, expecting them to say no. Because what they do, they trawl around looking for celebrities to go on shows. And it rarely happens. So when they rang back and said yes, I was surprised. Then she said to me, what do you like to cook? I said, I don't cook. She said, do you want to be on Celebrity Masterchef but you don't cook? I said, no, genuinely, I don't cook. I've never seen the programme. Seriously, David, you've never seen the programme? You want to be on the show? I said, I do want to be on the show. Now, listen, I genuinely believed that Celebrity Masterchef was no different to Celebrity Antiques Road Trip, where I take John Barrowman or Giles Brandreth or Mylene Class on a tour around the countryside buying antiques. They don't need to know anything about antiques. I teach them a bit and we learn about them and we get to know one of this wonderful show. All fun, nobody gets hurt, nobody is put under pressure. I never watched Celebrity Masterchef. She obviously didn't believe me. She just thought I was trying to lay the ground and then go in there like a chef from heaven, like a wizard. It was true, I'd never cooked and never seen the show. She said, well, you've got to cook something. I said, well, what should you cook? She said, what's your favourite dish? I said, I've explained to you, I don't cook. Okay, come up with something. I said, I will. So I went away, and I mentioned earlier on that I've always believed that the closest you will ever get to travelling through time is handling an object from the past. So I came up with this great idea. I will find an ancient ingredient, an ancient meal, an ancient dish to take them back through history. They're going to love me. So I found a medieval dish dating to about 1350. This medieval dish was basically a beef and red wine stew, stuffed with herbs and stuff that nobody, my mother had never heard of, my wife had never heard of. So we had to sort of compromise and find all these different ingredients and make this dish. And I tell you what, it was amazing. You genuinely taste it, because I made it myself and I really enjoyed it. I had a glass of wine, I really enjoyed doing it. First time I'd ever cooked. I loved it, right? And it took you back 600 years in time. Amazing. And I cooked this dish for 6 different sets of people. Bear in mind, I've never cooked, and I'm not showing off here, I'm not being big-headed, but every single group of people that tasted this dish said it was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely revolting beyond belief. So, not watch the show, I thought, my God, that's a result. They're going to love this. A real experience, a real flavoursome experience. So I practiced the dish, and it was all sorted. She said to me, the producer, so I know you haven't watched the show, she'll send you a DVD. She sent me a DVD, I didn't watch it. She rang me, have you watched the DVD? I said, I haven't. Because I was away from it. So I'll send you a link, you can watch it in your hotel. I said, I will. I didn't watch it, right? Because I like doing things by the seat of my pants. I do talks and events and I don't get prepared. Because I think when you get prepared, you get stressed. Just go and do it. I thought it would just be a really good experience. They're going to teach me to cook, be all jolly, and I'm going to meet some other celebrities. It'll be lovely. Anyway, so I jumped on the train. They put me in this lovely hotel in the East End of London, very media-like. And I got the shock of my life. I walk into this hotel room, it was a suite, madam. a suite. Massive living room, luxury bathroom. We're used to staying in Premier Inns, right? Seriously, on BBC, this is blown out of the water. Get this, you're not going to believe it. This hotel suite had a fully fitted kitchen. And I saw this kitchen, I thought, what on earth have they given me a hotel room with a kitchen for? It never occurred to me that they thought I might want to practice again. Right? So every celebrity gets a hotel suite with a kitchen. I just look at this and I see pots and pans and ovens and I just think, wonderful, so I might as well have a cup of tea and just watch TV. What have a jolly nice time. Now, they said to me, the following morning, you're going to come out and meet another celebrity called Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, who should I? Can't tell you, it's all top secrets, okay? So I walk out the next day, out onto the pavement, there's a car waiting for me with a chauffeur to take me to the studio. And I said to the guy, I'm looking for someone called Jimmy. He said, he's over there to the right. I turned to my right, and leaning against the railings was Jimmy Osmond. Madam in the purple, I've just taken you back to your youth, haven't I? Jimmy Osmond was there. He was leaning against the railing. I said, Jimmy. He said, David. He recognised me. He watches Bargain Hunt. Admittedly, he's not working much these days, but he watches. So he watches these shows. We got chatting, we got on like a house on fire, we've kept in touch all this time. We talked about cars, we talked about painting, he paints, I paint, we just got on, we were just jealous. Me and Jimmy Osmond were gelling. And I had another one of those moments. I couldn't believe I was sat in the back of a car with Jimmy Osmond and he knew who I was. It was bizarre. We get to the studio, we do all these press shots, meet all the other people. Didn't meet the two presenters, that John Turode and what's the other one called? Greg Wallace and Mr. Misery on Legs. Anyway, Greg Wallace, John Turode, right? Blinking heck. Talk about having one of the best jobs in TV, think might make him happy. It's like Sir Alex Ferguson, it's ridiculous. Anyway, so we get these penny things on and we're walked into a studio 50 times bigger than this space. And blow me, the two presenters are there. They hadn't even come to see us in the green room, they're just there. And I got the shock of my life, the cameras were on. They were coming from all angles, a proper setup. Amazing. And there was kitchen blocks everywhere. And they said, take a kitchen. So me and Jimmy Osmond, we ran to the back of the kitchen like two naughty schoolboys, just thinking this is going to be great. Because Jimmy Osmond said to me, he doesn't cook either. That's great. Perfect. Me and Jimmy will just learn a bit and we're getting on. I'm having a great time here. So I'm stood behind my kitchen. And the two presenters, miserable as you like, are just introducing us to the show. And in front of us there's a cloth. And they say, underneath the cloth are some ingredients. Now that's fine. I haven't watched the show, but I fully expect under the cloth to be beef, red wine, funny herbs, all the bits and bobs. And I'm about ready to do, I'm going through my head exactly in position, yes, I can do this. Still very excited at the prospect. And they say, reveal your ingredients and you have 30 minutes to make something interesting. I reveal the ingredients and I get the shock of my life. There is no red wine, nothing resembling a medieval beef and red wine dish. What the hell is going on? So I see chicken legs, I see mushrooms, I see shallots. You know shallots are onions, did you know that? I didn't know that, right? Shallots, they're onions. Anyway, so all these things, there's butter, croissants, there's honey, ham, sausage meat, what? And then I realise, oh my gosh, this is a test of my culinary skills. I just want a hole to open up and I want to dive in head first. I want to go home. You know that feeling? You want to go home. So, everybody else starts cooking, including Jimmy Osmond, who is like this, a wizard in the kitchen. He said to me he didn't cook. Jimmy Osmond looked like a professional Michelin chef, right? He was a liar. He's a big cook. I wasn't lying. I've never cooked, so I think what am I going to do? So I start frying oil. Because when I was a bachelor, I could do that. I could make some sausages, put them on toast. You put everything on toast, right? So, you know, we invite ladies round, give them beans on toast. Always worked for me. Anyway, so I thought I'll fry something. So I'll put the oil in, but what I did, because I'm in the moment, I put loads like this in. and it heated up very quickly, it spit it. And John Turode comes over with hatred in his eyes, and he says to me, "You've got too much oil in your pan." So I tip it out, so I'm tipping it down the sink like this. While everyone else is cooking, it's spilling everywhere, put it back on. I think I've got to just do something, so I chop up shallots. Yeah, onions. Just for you. Chop them up, start frying them, put some mushrooms in. I thought, well, okay, I can make a breakfast. Some sausage meat. Now, a big chunk, not like a sausage, like a big chunk of sausage meat. Now, I didn't realise this stuff takes a very long time to cook. But anyway, I slice it up, put it in. So now I've got the shallots, the mushrooms, bits of the tomatoes, and this big chunk of meat. But what happens? There's so much oil sizzling in there that it all just seems to zoom together like magnetised. And it develops into this brown mash of monstrosities, with bits of raw meat sticking out. Now, I've only got a certain amount of time. I think I can't just stand here while this stuff fries, so let's do something else. So I think I'll get it out of there onto a plate and let it, I think, rest for a little while. It may need to have rested for a very long time, but but what happened was I got it out with a scooping spoon, so there was all the oil was still all over the place and drenched onto the plate. I didn't use like a thing with holes in it, I don't know what you call them, a sieve or something. I didn't use that. I put it on the plate, it was boiling, and I thought, well, I have to dab some of the oil, so I got some kitchen roll and started dabbing it. And what happened was the kitchen roll hit the boiling meat and disintegrated. So now, the top of the meat is covered, stuck with kitchen roll. So what I have to do now is tip it upside down to hide the kitchen roll. So I've got a scoop and I've tipped it upside down and thought, right, I think I've got away with that. Right? That's okay. So I'm looking around and I'm thinking, right, what do I do? And I've got to toast. Let's get some bread, let's halve the meat, put it on, make a bit of a breakfast on the toast. And then I started having images of when I was in America, I had an antiques business in Florida. And on the way to my antique shop in Florida, most mornings, I would stop for an American breakfast. Have you enjoyed an American breakfast?
Yes.
At places like Denny's, right? I was about 25 stone within 2 weeks, right? Those crispy bacon with maple syrup, it was gorgeous. So this was running through my mind, I had a plan. So, there's no toast. But what there was croissant. And I thought, right, this is a posh breakfast. So I got a croissant and I cut it in half. And I thought, there's no toaster, but I can probably like griddle it or something inside the pan. What I didn't realise, two things. One, that the croissant was a butter croissant, so it was laden with butter. And two, I forgot to dispose of the oil. So, I got these croissants and I put them into the boiling oil. Well, the moment they hit the oil, they disintegrated. They developed into two little horrible brown dumplings. It was an awful sight. So I thought, my God, that's making the meat look pretty good. So I got them out onto another plate and I squashed them down with some pallet things, whatever they were. I thought, that's fine, that's looking okay. There was no maple syrup, but what there was honey. Now I think that's a good combination. So I got the butter croissants flattened, I got the honey, I scooped the honey, poured it over the croissant, got the meat, halved it, put it on top. And I stood and I looked back and I thought, I can eat that. That looks pretty good. But it's missing something. It's missing a bit of decoration. Now I can do poached eggs. I'm not showing off, but I can do them, right? So I got 2 eggs and I poached them in some boiling water and put 1 egg on top of the mound of meat, which was then on top of the oil-soaked croissant. Which didn't actually look like a croissant, but it had some honey on it anyway. So that was on there. And I stood back and I thought, that looks good. I'm ready, I'm done. Then I made the fatal mistake of looking to my right-hand side and I saw Jimmy Osmond. Jimmy Osmond was doing what they call zesting a lemon. He was zesting this lemon, he was getting the sprinkles, and he was going like this in a very professional manner. And he's sprinkling this lemon peel over something. And I thought, that's a cracking idea. That will really, seriously, liven up my eggs. So I'm looking at Jimmy, and I got my plate, I zested, and I went sprinkled on top, and I genuinely stood back, and I thought to myself, got away with that one. So what happened is Miserable John and the other one started going from table to table, doing a bit of a, yes, this is good, this is bad, you've done very well, excellent, yeah, very good cover. So by the time they got to me, I was actually feeling quite confident. And I got the shock of my life. They looked at me with pure, unadulterated hatred. Do you know the feelings? I mean, I do, I get it a lot, but do you know the feeling? Sometimes when you know somebody just doesn't like you, well, they went through me like a dose of salt. I think they thought I was some kind of plant from ITV to ruin the whole format. They wouldn't even taste it. One of them chopped an egg and it spilt out, he almost vomited on it. He hated it, both of them hated it, and they sent me back into the green room with a flea in my ear. I went to the green room, all these other celebrities were around me going, oh, don't worry, Dave, I'm sure you'll be all right. Like this. They knew I was a massive failure. They're all saying, oh, it'll be me that's going, David. They're laughing their heads off. Because the longer you stay in Masterchef, the more money you get. At this point, I just want to go home. I want to actually just crumple up in a ball, then get on a train back to the cold north. That's all I can think about. I want to go home. So then, when we get called into the studio to discover who indeed is going home first on Celebrity Masterchef, I'm pretty confident it's me. And I'm happy about this because I want to go home. But as I'm walking through the studio, a thought occurs to me, genuinely, because I know TV producers. If they're not in TV, they'll be mercenaries fighting in the jungle, right? They are horribly mercenary people. And I could just see them in my mind's eye in the gallery thinking, my God, he is dreadful, he's embarrassing, let's keep him in. And I thought, no way. And this thought occurs to me, and I remember, because I was halfway across the studio, and halfway across I get the thought and my knees go. I literally was almost collapsed on the floor. And then they lined us up, and they said the first celebrity to leave this year's Celebrity Masterchef is David Harper. I went, yes! Oh, God, yes! The first time any celebrity has ever celebrated being kicked off Celebrity Masterchef. I got out of there as fast as you like and jumped on that train. But guess what? I always believe that good comes out of bad. Always. And I got an email 2 weeks later from the producers of Celebrity Masterchef. They said to me, we have awarded you, David Harper, an award. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. This award was for the worst ever contestant on Celebrity Masterchef in the history of the programme across all territories around the world. I rang my parents, I forwarded on the email to them, I rang them, I said, check your emails, I've got an award. They said, son, you've got an award. I said, I have. I'd never, up until this point, had an award in my whole life. And they said, what's the award for? I said, the award, Dad and Mum, is for the worst ever contestant on Celebrity Masterchef. They said, son, we're so very proud of you. That's what you get for saying yes. Let's have a question. Yes, sir.
How much does television antique programmes alter the price of antiques?
How much?
Saying Brown Venture is
Yes.
popular. How much is that sort of thing down to people following what they see people buy on, bargain on, and oh, they made money on that, I'll go and buy that. And does that push the price up?
I think TV has great power. There is no doubt about it. And so, yes, if we had a TV show that was advocating buying brown furniture and saying that brown furniture was increasing in value, we would probably push the price of the brown furniture, but that wouldn't be a truth. So, yes, it definitely has an effect. And I know that it's changed the trade fundamentally, because years ago, when I first started, at the age of 18, so what am I now, 32, so what's that? Not very long, 12 years, something like that. When I was about 18, it was like a closed business. Private buyers rarely went to auction, it was mainly dealers. There were wholesalers where dealers would go to. And so TV then came along and changed all of that. And now you find private buyers in auction. They're also going to the wholesalers. And the auctioneers have come, I suppose, closer to the retailers now. Retailers are going, they're dying off, like there's no tomorrow, and auction businesses are flourishing. So that, I think TV has changed that, but it hasn't changed the value of antiques, it's just changed how people buy them. It has made people confident enough to go to an auction or go for a valuation. So I think TV's been a good thing for the antiques business, even though a lot of dealers do not like it. Oh my gosh, when we're filming, sometimes they just go, no, do not come onto my stand, we have to move on very quickly. They think we've ruined the business because we've introduced the public to the business. But the thing is, if you don't have public, you don't have a business. And people say to me, oh, because you're on TV, they come into my shop and they offer us what they refer to as BBC bids. So when you go in and you make a hard bid, everybody then goes into a shop and says, it's 100 quid, will you take 50 quid? It makes them really angry. And I say, don't get angry, get negotiating. All you have to say is, I can't do it at 50, but I can do it at 80. At least you've got the ball rolling, haven't you? So no, I don't think it changes prices, it's just changed how people buy. Yeah. Thank you, good question. Yes, sir?
On that note, some dealers have said to me that when you go and you negotiate and you get a really good price, they actually get paid full price for it by the BBC or the programme.
No, very interesting point.
And I don't think that is.
Yeah, so that's very interesting you say that. So the question was, some dealers that you've spoken to say that the BBC will buy something for 50 quid. Yeah, and then the BBC...
What you bid down.
Okay, so if we buy something for 50 quid, then the BBC will go in and say, well, look, okay, we'll give you another 30 quid, but we'll just do that for camera.
Yes.
Right, they are absolutely not telling the truth. Because the BBC is ruled by truth and honesty. If we did anything at all like that, we'd be fired immediately. So no, that's a bit sour grape subtle. So that doesn't happen at all. Any other questions? Yes?
How supportive is your wife when you're out? Is she left behind in Barney, or does she go along with you?
Okay, so how supportive is my wife? Because I spend a lot of time on the road. Well, if I'm honest, because she's not here, right, she's not supportive at all. However, my girlfriend, she's very... No, I must say, my wife is long-suffering and long-understanding. So no, she's brilliant. Actually, she would normally be here tonight. And if the audience aren't great, you are great, I then pick on her. It's great, it's brilliant. So I say my wife's here tonight and I just tell funny stories about her. And she seems to like it. No, she is very, very supportive. But on the subject of antiques and why we're all in the business, I think I've got time to tell you one more story before you're allowed to go home. And you can watch Strictly on catch-up, madam. Yes. Yeah. And send them a message and say, ring David Harper again, he'd love to wear lycra, it'd be amazing. He'd be kicked off in no time, but he doesn't care, he'd just like to do it. I think finally I just want to tell you how brilliant I am at valuing stuff. So on TV, one of my areas of expertise is Chinese pieces. I love Chinese things, have done since I was a kid. I think they match beautifully with British furniture. And a guy came to me, a client from Bedfordshire, a few years ago, with a collection of objects that he wanted me to sell. I do this occasionally, so I brokered the sale. So what I did, I put these objects in different auctions. The right auction, right auctioneer, right time, gets the money, I take a commission. Right? Very simple, I just know where they will sell for the best. So in this collection, a pair of Cantonese, Chinese, 19th century vases, family bird, absolutely gorgeous, painted in enamel, beautiful things. I put them in at £2,000 to £3,000. He's delighted with that. Put them into a really good auction, and I put my Chinese buyers onto them. I have Chinese buyers. Now these guys are not like you. They're not millionaires. They are billionaires. Right? They have so much. One Chinese buyer said to me recently, he said, David, we want to buy back our culture. The things that you took from us during the 19th century. We want them back. And David, when we're finished buying back our own culture, we want yours. It sent shivers at the back of my spine. Do you know why? Because I'm on 20%. I'll sell him whatever he wants. So, this client, and so in this collection was a Chinese screen. Now, I know Chinese stuff, right? I know it. I've been talking about it on TV. I know Chinese stuff. I am an expert in Chinese objects. This is a screen. This is a monstrosity of a screen made in Hong Kong circa 1890, made for the Brits living there in the old colony. I know that the Chinese will not buy this fact because they want to buy things made for their very own home market, which is very fine and refined, much more upmarket than the stuff made for the Brits. Very heavily carved, this one, ugly. The client never liked it, his wife hated it, it lived in a garage, he paid 100 quid for it 20 years ago. I put it into the sale as an interior designer's lot made for the Brits, circa 1890, £200 to £300. I don't like it, auctioneer doesn't like it, nobody likes it. It goes in the sale. The Chinese farmers come up first. They sell for £5,000. I'm on 20%, madam. Are you good at maths? No, are you good at maths? Keep an eye on this one. 20%. I've got expenses to pay, got a bit of fees for the auctioneer, but 14 wives, several children, all of that, right? I've got expenses. But that's a good sale. 20%. Up comes the screen, the monstrosity. It starts at £200, gets to 300. I think, thank God that it's not coming back. Right? It's sold. Gets to 500, just about to be sold. I'm watching it in my office on the screen. Suddenly, the internet lights up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, £5,000. Nobody in the room, just online. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. £10,000, I'm collapsed. I'm on the floor, an ambulance has been called. I wake up at £18,000. Bearing in mind, I'm the expert here, right? 18, 20, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, £30,000. I'm now willing this thing to sell. £32,000, this monstrosity of a screen sells. Now, I'm on 20%, sir. How much is that? 6,400. You said he was good at maths. Yeah. 6,000 quid, thereabouts. What's that? 6,400, isn't it?
Yeah, but
oh, good. Oh, I'm not including that. Don't confuse me. Never mind that, honestly. Anyway, 20%. Shall we just say that, right? I'm on a big earner here. But I've got mixed emotions. I've got to ring this client as the expert and say the vases did quite well. However, knew that thing that I said was only worth 200 quid was just over 32,000. How good am I at valuing Chinese objects, right? So I've got these mixed emotions. So I rang the auctioneer afterwards. I said, what did I miss? He said, David, you missed nothing. We all agree it was made for the Brits, late 19th century. But your Chinese buyer was bidding against our Chinese buyer. We think they know one another. We've heard they don't like one another. They faced off online. And one of them paid 32 grand for a screen worth £200. Don't you just love the Chinese, eh? Isn't that marvellous? And get this, I rang the owners. They, of course, were delighted. So minus my fee, they get about £25,000. They go on a world cruise. Isn't that just beautiful beyond belief? So now you know how brilliant I am at valuing Chinese objects. Please do get in touch if you have anything of interest. Thank you very much indeed. And I think just finally, I'm going to thank you so much for coming along tonight. It's been a lovely, lovely night. I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. And I think for those of you on Facebook and Twitter, do please leave reviews. You know, I need to sell out wherever I go. So if you've enjoyed the show, brilliant. Say some nice things. On Twitter, I'm David Harper TV, stands for not transvestite. No. Television, David Harper Television on Twitter, and on Facebook it's David Harper Antiques. And equally, you know, we all know you can't please everybody all the time. So if you've got any negative comments to make, that's fine. The place for that is at Tim Wanakoff. Thank you very much, ladies and gents. And finally, if you all want a postcard, come in.